6255 1206. Breakfast with Stephen Senatiempo on 2CC.
Well, time to catch up with One Nation leader Senator Pauline Hanson. Pauline, good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Very well. I tell you what, I mentioned this a couple of times this morning, that there doesn't seem to be a minister in this current government that actually wants to take responsibility for their portfolio. I mean, we've been talking about Andrew Giles lately, but now Bill Shorten has jumped on the bandwagon. We've got the Treasurer who seems to think it's the Reserve Bank's responsibility to look after the economy. But Giles is just extraordinary, suggesting that we're going to use drones to look after, to watch these detainees, and then, well, actually, we're not going to use drones. Somebody told me that, but I'm not quite sure who.
Exactly right. Actually, when I heard that, Stephen, I've got to tell you something. When I was up at Yeppoon, I actually was, James had the drones. Anyway, I flew the drone out and it was over a certain area. But anyway, I was pulled up by CASA because I showed the footage of it. Yep. Anyway, I was pulled up by CASA and it showed that you can't fly it over certain areas, housing or anything like that. There wasn't housing there at all. But anyway, I was cleared of it. But the strict rules with it. So when I heard that they were following by drones, I thought, what a load of rubbish, because I know what I went through with CASA and just flying that drone over a certain area. I knew it was rubbish when I heard about it. So anyway, no one picked it up, but he lied about it. He said his department told him this and he's changed his opinion about it. It's all cover up all the time. So by their mistakes, he's absolutely hopeless, pathetic in that portfolio. But Albanese's doing nothing about it and getting rid of him. The people are fed up with this, about hearing about these the detainees from the detention centre they've let go into public. You've got 2 murderers, 26 sex offenders. They've actually, he says, the AAT keeps turning over their deportation visas. Who runs the country? Is it the minister, is it the government, or the AAT?
And you would have seen the interview that Andrew Giles did with Kieran Gilbert from Sky News last week, where he said, well, we can't do anything about it because it's the law. Well, isn't that what the Parliament's there for, to change laws?
Correct. Exactly. That's what I keep saying all the time. That's why I am adamant about getting more people elected to Parliament under One Nation, because we're the only ones who are prepared to stand up to them, call them out and call for accountability. They are so weak, so gutless, so pathetic that it's the general public out there that have to suffer the consequences of their incompetence. This just doesn't go with Home Affairs. Also, it's the education. You look at the housing. They've only put $10 billion into a fund for the housing. Do you know that not one social house has been built in 2 years?
Yeah, and won't be built this term of Parliament.
Correct.
Yeah.
So people have to realise, why do you keep voting for these idiots, and why are we in the situation that we are in this country? I wish people would just have a good look at politics, the politicians, and you say, am I really getting value for money here? Has my life improved since this mob have been in? And people need to really have a good think about it.
Indeed. Meanwhile, over at their ABC, the inmates are running the asylum. Laura Tingle last week decided to tell us that we're a racist country. I mean, you've had this thrown at you for years now, but apparently all of us are racist. And when she was hauled over the calls for it, she issued a statement basically just doubling down on her claims.
Yeah. Look, this is what the people do. There's no basis for that comment. And, of course, when people hear the word racist thrown at you, they double down, they back down, they don't open their mouth again. Of course, then you destroy freedom of speech. I've been called it for years, Stephen, because I questioned things and I raised issues that other people weren't game to or had the guts to actually raise and question. So it was easy to throw the word out, racist, you're racist. And people have to understand, to be a racist is believe your race to be superior to another. Now, no one said that, but when you question something that's going on, that's not racism. That's ridiculous. So speak up. I just say to people, speak up. You are entitled to have an opinion. That's why people fought for our freedom of speech in this nation. And if you're quite prepared to go and put your head out in the sand and say nothing because in fear of having the finger pointed out you're racist, you're just throwing away your democracy.
Yep, I think you're right. Pauline, good to talk to you. We'll catch up again next week.
Thanks, Stephen. Bye.
Senator Pauline Hanson, One Nation leader, she'll be back with us next week on the program. 6255 1206.
Call now 6255 1206. Breakfast with Stephen Senatiempo on 2